That's it.
I don't know what that post-up was. I made that shit up.
You like the way it
Nah, I tell you what you really feel. Bullshit ass shot.
Chris.
Hey, Donovan.
Hey.
How does it feel to know that you're officially going to the playoffs?
It's to be expected, to be honest. You know, that's the bare minimum for us. You know, I think the biggest thing is, you know, how we're playing and continue to build that. But that's what we do. That's who we are. And now we got to handle business Sunday and get ready for whoever we got to play.
For you personally, somebody who's so hard on themselves, given the way that everything went last year in the playoffs against New York, how much are you looking forward to an opportunity to avenge that?
You know, as a competitor, you're always, you know, looking for ways, especially when you go through something like that, you know, but I've said it throughout the year, like last year's, you know, obviously it carries fuel, you know, when you're working out and motivates you, but at the end of the day, it's a whole different situation, you know, it's a whole different year, and I'm not carrying that into the playoffs. It's like, how can we be the best team we can be? Not harping on it, you know, whoever we see, but, you know, it's great to be back, you know, back where we belong in the playoffs, and that's pretty much the motivation for me, just finding a way to continue to build, and tonight was pretty good. Yeah, I think we are right where we need to be. You know, I think there's things we have, 9 days? 9 days to clean some things up, watch some film, good, bad, you know, indifferent, you know what I mean? And, you know, a win like tonight, you know, is definitely, in the way we won, too. Like, obviously the scoring, but, like, the little plays, Max Strus's rebounds, you know, Karis LeVert at the end of the game. I mean, Jared Allen, man, I stopped finding ways to figure out how to compliment him. It's just like, it's crazy what he's been able to do for us. Just continuing to be able to execute in different situations. And there's things we can also clean up, you know, like, but I think we're in a good spot. You know, I've said that, and, you know, I think the road trip wasn't a reflection of who we are. You know, it's easy to kind of get down, especially when it's late, but I think we're in good shape, you know, and like I said, this is a good win for us, especially mentally, coming off that trip, and I think we're in a good spot.
Darryl.
Donovan, considering all the adversity that not only you have been through this season, but the team, just how gratifying is this moment? I know you have your eye on a little bit of a bigger picture, but to at least meet your expectations to get back to the playoffs.
I want to say, honestly, it's to be expected. You know, I think this is something that, you know, no matter what situations are thrown at us, injuries, you know, guys playing well, not playing well, in and out the lineup, this is who we are. You know, as we're a playoff team, you know, we're a top 4 seed, I think, or something like that. I don't know if that's the case. But that's who we are at the bare minimum. Now it's how do we find ways to continue to build upon that. Definitely feels good, but, you know, I think we all are like, all right, like we did what we were supposed to do. I don't think it's, you know, a celebration. You know, I think City will be, you know, popping as it always is, but for us, this is the bare minimum. This is what I'm here to do. It's what we're here to do, and now it's continuing to build upon that.
And for you, these last 2 games, playing the way you expect yourself to play, just how good does it feel to kind of feel like yourself out there again?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long 2-3 months, is it? Like, you know, it's been a long 2 or 3 months, but that's what I was telling you the other day, just having grace and, you know, continuing to believe in it. And, you know, like I said, it's nothing ridiculous that's over here, but, you know, it's just continuing to mentally be strong and mentally tough. With how well I'm playing of the past 2 games, I still did a bunch of things that I feel like I let the team down on. You know, I can point 2 out to you right now. The Tyrese Halliburton rotation, like, just standing there, can't happen. And then the post-up where I took 16 dribbles to go nowhere. Like, if I'm tired, give the ball up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm at, and I expect to be at this level. This is what I do, you know, and now it's just how do I elevate myself to be even better throughout the game.
Hey, Donovan, do you think this team's better equipped for the playoffs than last year?
Yeah, I think we have, you know, a stronger veteran presence for sure. I think it's when you're out there, and this is no excuse to last year, when you're out there and you have guys, you know, who obviously it's their first time, you know, it's different, you know, for them, but definitely when you have a guy like Max, like Karras. Karras was here last year. Max, George, TT, Marcus Morris. Like, somebody can go down the line. Like, that's huge. That's just what they say on the bench, let alone the play. Like, what's being said in the locker room, what's being said on a day-to-day basis. I think that's really where the impact comes in. Like, you saw Jared Allen, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me. He went up. I call it weak. He got the and one though, or got fouled and went up weak and he missed it, but they called the foul. And I told him, I said, they bailed you out. And then the next time he comes down and goes up strong, like, that's progression. You know what I mean? But that's also like a determination, and that also comes from the veteran presence that we have. And I think that's something that you're starting to see. And this is all great now, but we got to continue to do it and do it on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it is.
Spencer Davis has a setter. Oftentimes in the playoffs, things get bogged down. The sets don't work quite as much because there's switches and all that stuff. You guys tonight, Evan, you, Jarrett, all attacked kind of without having to have someone else create for you. How important is that to see that come to fruition in a game like tonight, and also knowing that the postseason's around the corner?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think being able to get into the paint, triggers. Like the play I had at the end of the half, where I drive and I hit George in the corner or whoever, and then they swing it to Karras. He hits the three at the end of the half. DG's driving in the paint, creating, getting to his natural. Yeah, he threw it off somebody's leg, but being able to collapse it and find guys. Evan starting the game off strong, being resilient, getting to his spot and finishing, not shooting that fade, but continuing to get there on those hooks. Like, those are game changers. Those are three different possessions I can give you right off the top. But, like, I think that's the biggest thing, being able to get into the paint, create for each other, and moving the ball. And I think that's the biggest thing, is finding triggers. That's what I call them. Just triggers, different things that make the defense have to react to what we're doing and getting good looks.
How important has Max been as a second side playmaker this season?
I didn't know he had that in his game. To be honest with you, he's a guy that we've come to trust when he's running pick and roll, and continue to get into the paint. He had 9 assists tonight. Like, I think he's our leading assist guy, and he's the second leading rebounder in the game. Excuse me. Like, those are the little things. Yeah, he shot 2 of 10 from the field, but he has so many different elements to his game that really is just winning basketball. You know what I mean? He realizes what matchups he has, kind of putting himself in different spots to create that trigger. Understand the gravity he has, and I've been saying that all year. Just even though he's 2 of 10, he has to respect it. You know what I mean? You have to respect him and what he's doing, and he's been great for us.
Last two, James and then Chris. I'm sorry, Evan and then Chris. Evan?
You said you really can't heap enough praise on Jarrett like you have all year, but tonight he really stepped up with Evan being in foul trouble. He just consistently seems to do that whenever you guys need him to. Do you think that's just like one of his most underrated attributes?
Yeah, and I think he doesn't get enough love for it because he doesn't really talk outside of the media sessions. I think he should be on a defensive team first and foremost. He should have been an all-star. He's playing phenomenally. He's doing everything we've asked of him and then some. He's stepped up when guys have been out. He's stepped up when guys come back. Look at nights like tonight. Like, this is Jared Allen. You know what I mean? And he's one of the, if not the most important player on this team, just because of what he's able to do for us. His screen setting, his rolling, being able to be patient, find guys on the perimeter when they collapse. Like, there's just so much that he does. Then his personality, like, what he brings to this locker room. He's phenomenal, man. And I'm blessed to be able to play with a guy like that, who's so selfless, but also, like, throughout his success doesn't really kind of put it on himself. He kind of puts it on everybody else and shows love. So I think that's the biggest thing, and it's great to have a guy like that.
A non-basketball question. What's up with your Mets to start the year?
We just won 16-4 against the Braves. I'm just saying, like, we're peaking at the right time. It's it's April.
Chris, finish this.
Donovan, final minute, it seemed like you deferred to Darius, and he took the step back three and made it. Why did you defer to him?
To kind of put, like, you working on these positions, understanding that, first of all, I was exhausted. Let's just start there. And I trust, like, that's the biggest thing. I continue to trust him since I got here. Understanding that if I'm in a situation where I can't go in, like, I'm trying to think of the last time it happened. I think it was against the Bulls, before All-Star break. He did the same thing, like, putting ourselves in positions where no matter how the game's going, he had 4 turnovers, different things. It wasn't really going his way, but in big moments, continuing to be there, because that does a lot for the mental. You know what I mean? And not that he needs any more motivation, but he's a guy that continuously puts the work in and puts the time in. And, you know, when you put yourself in those situations, you know, like a night like tonight, you know, I've been there, you know, a lot of times, but understanding that for him, that's big, you know, and that goes a long way. And, you know, he executed and delivered for us tonight.